I've seen my own share of war. My family has seen every event. I served with my brother and sister. We fought on the shoulders of those before. I remember my friends alongside me. The ones still here, the ones who gave their life so we can live. Far away from here, my brother recalls a piece of Britain, a population invaded, islands retaken, and people freed. On our own streets of our own land, my father was there. Peace. A battle of cat and mouse on a testing ground. Unforgiving terrain, unlike anything before. The humidity, the rain, the jungles tested my great uncle. I've listened to my grandfather's legacy, retold by my father. I've heard how after victory in '44, with eyes wide open, he'd be back on that beach, awake but dreaming. 100 years ago, the Great War ended. My great-granddad was in those trenches. He's not here to give his account, but he gave me, he gave us all, his future. I now teach my kids of the debt that is owed, of the respect we must show for those who did and didn't return. At 11 o'clock, with my right hand to cap, 2 minutes best spent. The deafening quiet, the ringing of nothing. Today, when the guns fall silent.
Today is Remembrance Day, when at 11 o'clock the nation will fall silent as we mark the anniversary of the end of World War I. Remembrance honours those who served to defend our democratic freedoms and way of life. We unite across faiths, cultures and backgrounds to remember the service and sacrifice of armed forces community from Britain and the Commonwealth.
World War I was the first total war that witnessed the sacrifice of millions, from the men on the battlefields to the women whose roles changed as they worked on the home front and on the battles as essential workers in the war effort. It was the first total war, and sadly not the last.
Ever since 1919, we as a country have commemorated the soldiers lost in the First World War and subsequent conflicts by wearing a poppy. Poppies are worn as an outward symbol of recognition and commemoration for all those affected by all conflicts from the First World War until today.
In 2024, we are remembering and honouring service and not self. Service, the act of defending and protecting the nation's democratic freedoms and way of life, is rarely without cost to those who serve or to their families and friends. Physical, mental, or emotional injury or trauma, the absence of time with loved ones, or the pressures that come from serving, highlight why the remembrance of service is so important.
United by the theme of service, this year marked the 80th anniversary of monumental battles and turning points of the Second World War. The D-Day landing on 6th of June, the largest sea-borne invasion in history, marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe.
Elsewhere on the globe, exceptionally hard-fought battles were also turning the tide of the war. The Battle of Monte Cassino was the bloodiest of the Italian campaign, and in India. Outnumbered British and Indian forces withstood weeks of siege and brutal fighting at the battles of Kohima and Impel. We remember their bravery and sacrifice.
This year marked the 10th anniversary of the end of combat operations by British Armed Forces in Afghanistan, Operation Herrick. The UK had a military presence in Afghanistan from October 2001 and 2014, when British formally ended all combat operations in the country. Some 150,000 British Armed Forces personnel served in Afghanistan and 457 lost their lives.
We remember and pay tribute to the service and the sacrifice of British and Commonwealth Armed Forces in these and other battles who served in almost unimaginable conditions. We also pay tribute to the contribution of families and emergency services. We acknowledge the innocent lives of civilians lost in conflicts and acts of terror. Today at Tanfield we pause and show our respect, and that way as a community remember their sacrifice.
They'll play it down. They'll look away. They'll tell you it's just their job. They won't tell you what it means to say goodbye to loved ones, to face the possibility of never coming home, or what it is to risk everything for others. They will never tell you. But your poppy shows you care and helps the Royal British Legion continue its vital work.
Parade! By the centre, in column of route. Quick! March! Parade! Halt!
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Parade by the centre in column of route. Quick! March! Parade! March! Move to the left. Left! Left! When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today.
Remembrance Day is important to me because I want to remember everyone who's laid down their lives for the peace of our country.
Remembrance Day is important to me because we get to remember the people who have fought for our country and have honoured us.
Tamfield School remembers and honours the soldiers that fought for our freedom.
I think Remembrance Day is important for the soldiers that dedicated their lives to fight for our country. I'm really proud that at Tamfield School we can remember soldiers who have fallen.
It's important that we do remembrance because of all the soldiers who fought in the war and lost their lives.
A few years ago I joined the Army Cadet Force as a tribute to all those that lost their lives.
Here at Tamfield it is important that we sacrifice 2 minutes of our day in silence for those who sacrificed their lives.
On behalf of Tamfield School, we would like to thank you for joining us for this Remembrance service.